Ready for a change?
I am talking to you.
Then get ready to explore the quantum possibilities. It's time to transform that outdated paradigm into something universal and new. Time to uncover the truth hidden beneath the veil of lies. A time to think outside the box as we link to a higher consciousness. Welcome to the awakening. And now the hosts of Broadcast Team Alpha, Nori Love and Augie Nost.
Oh, well, hello, Radiant Rock Stars. How are you? It's Tuesday night. I missed you guys last week. Forgive me. I mean, at the worst possible, is there ever a good moment? I was in the living room and my dog, right, she's 4 pounds. She had this quarter of a biscuit, literally. It was like a quarter of a cookie. And I heard a high-pitched whistle sound. And having been a nurse, I've heard that sound more times than I really probably ever wanted to. And I couldn't tell if the cookie was in her trachea or maybe it was in her lung. So I did a bunch of nursing things that didn't really bring her back to a comfortable point. So we ended up having to go to the emergency vet. And the good news is it was not in her lung, and whatever it was, was pretty much gone, although she was still having symptoms by the time we went there. But my dog just has really good taste in veterinarians. So she racked up a nice little bill. So that was good for her. But I missed you guys. And Augie, thanks for covering for me. And, I have a friend who used to say that karma is around the corner and she's carrying a brick bat. And that saying was always so interesting to me, especially.
She dropped off. Okay, well, she'll be back. And I guess that's happened twice here. So maybe we'll just get her back and everything will be good. All right. Well, I'm just going to take it from here. And yes, we have a very interesting show here. We're going to talk about karma and a few other things. And we have Sherry Magdaleno. She is returning to Broadcast Team Alpha. And I was re-listening to the last show we did with Sherry. And I recommend for the listeners to go and listen to that one also. Go to broadcastteamalpha.com and look for Sherry Magdaleno, because I tell you that was... Nori!
What kind of karma was that?
What did you do in a past life?
Well, maybe it was ours for losing you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Augie's trying to do the guilt trip on me, right? Yeah, we know what you did in that past life. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, so anyway, what did I miss?
Well, I just started out a little bit on Sherry here. And and there was so much fun last time that I just recommended for everybody to go back and listen to that show, because we talked about so many really interesting things about what are we and what the universe is and how does healing work, and everybody can do it. And we talked about these things, and we're going to do some of that today too. But when we talked here earlier, Sherry and I, because of a range of knowledge, it was hard to nail down a specific subject to actually talk about. And but first, I want to tell you a little bit about Sherry. And she walked away from a successful nursing career and allowed herself to unfold into what she is today. She is a clairvoyant, a clairaudient, a claircognizant, clairsentient, and an effective psychic healer since 1971. She is also a meditation teacher and a practitioner of the old Hawaiian healing method of Ho'oponopono. And she's using all these methods in her healing practice. Well, maybe practice is the wrong word here, because that is what doctors do. They have medical practices. And of course, the reason they have that medical practice is because they got to keep practicing, because they haven't gotten it right yet. And I tell you, from what I hear, Sherry has gotten a few things right. And in fact, that is what the word ho'oponopono means, to make right. So welcome to the show again, Sherry.
Thank you. What a beautiful intro. You always honor me with your words, Augie. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. I did my best. I had to leave a few things out. But
Welcome back, Sherry. I love having you back
Thank
on
you,
here.
Nori.
It's so great. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Nori. I'm very glad to be back. Thank you. Blessed to be back.
So tell me how you guys got to the karma topic, or
well, actually,
how it bubbled up. Yeah.
I'm the one that brought it up, and I brought it up to Sherry because over the last few months here, nobody really knows this, but I've been mentoring a guy that is in business, very successful in business, but now he's older, and he started worrying about some of the people he hurt in his past in order to attain his wealth. And he mentioned that maybe I got some karma that I got created here, and how does that gonna work after I, leave this place? And it went from there. And I brought up karma to Sherry, and she sounded so brilliant. I thought that would be a place to start. And what is this thing called karma anyway, Shari?
Well, first of all, I don't believe that it's good or bad. It's just an energetic. And so just like throwing a boomerang out, it comes back to you. That's basically what karma is. You set something into motion and it will come back to you that way. And so there has to be no judgment about it. But how he is worried about doing something, he's already judging something that he did as improper or out of integrity. And he's worried about that coming back to him. Well, these are the things that keep people in high integrity, right? I mean, that's always the highest end of karma. If you believe that what you put out is what you get, then it should keep you ideally in the highest integrity. Mm-hmm. But karma is neither good or bad. It's just an energetic bill that we rack up. And at some point, that bill will need to be paid.
Yeah, but let's take it one step further. Let's say we hear people say that, when we come down to Earth or take on this body, then we have agreements of doing certain things or going through certain things or experiencing certain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but let's say that we came down here with an experience of really taking great advantage of someone and hurting them so they could get that experience. And then how does that fill in with karma? Because if we came here, both of us, with an agreement to do that.
Right, then that's exactly why nothing is either good or bad.
Yeah.
It's the same as the murderer. When I talk about this with people, it's really hard for people to wrap their head around that could actually be a good thing. But it sets off so many things into motion, into energetic motion. And you have to really see the biggest picture of what that energetic is. And so just like from past life, many past lives, and you have this bill, and you can even decide to forego it. You know what? This human experience, I want it to be easy breezy. So can we just save that? Can I set up a tab, right? And then you're collecting things. So you skip that. And then the next life you have a larger tab than usual. Mm-hmm. And some people have that. And so being born with, handicaps or disease, a lot of that is karmic.
Yeah, because it is an experience that they may have agreed to go through and learn how it feels and what the experience of doing it is. And
absolutely.
I know I agreed to a few things in my own stupidity, and I just went and agreed to it. But the thing about it is that what I look at is that whatever we go
It's
through
not
here,
stupid.
yeah, I know, but I just threw that out there anyway. But there is something here that we feel great emotions about the negativities that we are going through, and it's hurting. It is terrible sometimes, but once we drop the body, it is only an experience, isn't it?
Absolutely. And we're just meant to observe it.
Yeah.
And experience it, because what we are is the infinite experiencer. It's all been set into motion, all of it.
Yeah, and then karma usually comes up in the sense of bad things, negative karma. But do you ever hear somebody say that, oh, I got wonderful, good karma? Have you? Do you hear people say that?
I hear people saying, I would like to rack up some good karma. So they're doing good deeds, but then that's doing good deeds with expectation.
Mm-hmm.
And then is it really good? This is what I'm saying. That's why you have to go in with zero judgment or expectation.
Right, but the whole karma thing, especially for people who may not be in an expanded place yet about having a physical limitation or having something this life that's difficult. When you think in terms of karma, and if you haven't looked at the expansiveness of that could just feel like a really big judgment.
Mm-hmm.
you know
Absolutely.
I
Well,
mean,
even the easier side of karma, right? Having a healthy, happy marriage or an easier life path, that is karmic, right? But then it has to also keep us in the highest integrity to not abuse that, to not say, well, I'm having it easy, so forget about you. And then they become mindless in other senses.
mm-hmm.
Like, my life is easy. That's you. That's yours. You own it.
Right. Good luck with that. Right.
Right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't, the Abraham Hicks saying that you can't put a happy sticker on an empty gas tank. It just keeps coming up for me right now. So that you can't be doing, random acts of kindness, hoping to get your karma erased. Like that negates it, right? I mean, the calculation of that is almost out of integrity, right?
Right. You can actually burn karma through deep communion with self. But as far as like, I'm going to wash this guy's car and I'm going to rack up good karma, and so maybe it'll knock off something off my tab, it doesn't work that way.
Right. Exactly.
Because we choose specific karmic experiences to learn the lessons that possibly we have not learned in a past life, that we do need to learn. And so that will keep repeating if we don't get it the first time.
Right.
Until we actually get it, then we get to graduate.
I think of something here too, and that is that you said something there that, if you do a good thing expecting to have a credit, let's say in the spiritual arena because of that, that should not deter us from doing the good thing, even though we expect, oh, I'm doing this good thing because I'm going to rack up good karma. By the time you're done doing the good thing, chances are you feel so good about it, you forget about all these things that you expected in the beginning, and you still have the good karma.
Yeah, ideally. Mm-hmm. Possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the whole idea is to be heart-centered and full of love, right? Then we can return to a unity consciousness, and that's doing good things because it's heart-centered, not because you're expecting good things back.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's so good.
Now, if we take karma to the totally spiritual level, between physical lifetime, there is an evaluation of what we did here. And it is not a negative or a positive evaluation of what we did, but how how do you think that evaluation would come about? Let's say we did something really nasty here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take an example. Adolf Hitler. What happened? How did that karma come out? Because I doubt that he actually shorted out karma or repented or anything like that. How do you think something like that will come out?
Well, he made obviously the agreement to do that, to be this horrific energy. But look how many it affected, and it's still affecting.
Mm-hmm.
So the shock waves of that karmic event are immense. And so how many people that are experiencing the shock waves still, is it their karma?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So then you're adding all of these other energies into the mix. I mean, it's huge. There is only one, right? So if he did this, then the people on the receiving end of it, what was on the front end of that they became on the receiving end of that? And then what will be now when they return? I mean, that's why we have to see every situation without any judgment. And so we're taught judgment, and that's the whole idea of duality, right? There is good, there is bad, there's evil, and it's just not true. It's like saying that the head and the tails are two different coins. It's still the quarter. And I know we've talked about this, I think, in one of the other times I was here, but we are all one. And so there is no good or bad. It's just energetic set into a current. And the currency is what returns.
Yeah, and what we do here, though, once we start understanding that we can rack up good karma by doing good things, I still think that will count as something, as a balance, because universe wants to create balance.
Of course, there's always balance.
Yeah, so the balance will come in. Let's say we do something good here, even if we expect that maybe that it won't hurt me anything later on. Maybe that's as far as our thoughts go. And we do it. I think it probably would come to our credit somehow, wouldn't it?
Eventually.
It's complicated.
Yeah, it gets deep.
No, eventually it will, because everything, that whole idea of even timelines, I experience it as a torus, right? And it's this beautiful spiral donut, energetic. And so it's constantly recycling. And so that's how I feel it. I mean, you can have a good experience and then right on the tail end of that, have a good experience. And that's kind of your consolation prize for going through the lesson, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's your graduation gift.
So we have a question in the chat room. Shady D, Highland, said, is it up to individuals to stop that karmic wave, or are they just in it because of the karmic contract? So let's break that down. Let's talk about the karmic wave. And can that be stopped? I mean, can you intend above it, or?
Okay, so these agreements are made before you come into the inception. And that's why even karmic relationships are so hard to sever. And, you hear about cutting cords and severing energetic connections, and it's really difficult. And on some end of it, you will have to experience what you're needing to experience either way.
Right.
And so can it be stopped? I think that it can be diverted, but as far as like completely stopped, no. I mean, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. Exactly. It just changes.
Right.
And that's the law of energy. I mean, that's scientifically been proven. And so karma is an energy, just like we are.
Yeah.
So really the best we could hope for, the best we can intend for is to accept. to be resilient, right, in the way that we receive our karma, and to do it with as much grace and dignity as possible.
Absolutely. Don't try to fight it. It's
Mhm.
acceptance.
Mhm.
It's in the surrender that we actually, that's the paradox of the human experience. I mean, in that surrender, people always equate surrender with this deep weakness or being defenseless, but actually surrender is about being receptive. And when you allow yourself to be in that deep receptiveness, you get to flow, and then you get to glimpse God, and everything then starts to smooth out. But of course, our humanness wants us to control everything. We got to stop this.
Exactly.
This is just too intense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how this is going to feel if I feel it. No.
And that's why we choose the human experience. I mean, that's the whole insanity of it, right? We get to feel all the feels, because in our truest form, we're not feeling.
Exactly.
But even in our deepest sorrow in the human experience, we're still feeling. And to us as spirit, we think that's phenomenal. That's interesting. Give me a couple more lessons that feel like that.
Yeah.
And then when we're human, we're like, wait a second, I want to renege on this.
Wait a minute,
Yeah.
I changed my mind on this one.
Yeah. Stop, rewind.
It's like being wheeled into the delivery room and going, no, I think I changed my mind.
Exactly. Exactly.
Aw. So Super Cute in the chat room said a scenario. What if you enter the ethers, recall a memory of event, change the action, and then leave that timeline? Has karma changed? That's an interesting.
I love this question. Super cute. That was super smart. Super connected. So Augie and I were going down this rabbit hole, and I love this. So rewriting timelines, right, is basically what's being asked. Can we rewrite a timeline? And so I will share an experience. And so I was worried about the karmic ramifications of this. And so I did it only in Sherry's lifetime. I didn't. So I jumped my own timeline. And I wanted to change the relationship of myself and my mother. And so I went back into a memory, a time of me and my mother where we were completely alone. And I really wanted to rewrite the event. And so I'll share with you what exactly happened. I was a little girl, and a very psychic little girl who had a hard time sleeping, and it was scary. And I always felt rejected by my mother. I was different than all of my siblings. And she had told me when I would say about 42, she said, I just didn't know how to be around you. You would say things and it would scare the shit out of me. And so I was freed in that moment, because she was telling me, it's not that I didn't love you. I just didn't know how to love you. So I jumped this timeline.
Oh, Sherry, we are got 20 seconds left for break. Could you hang on to that thought?
I will.
Yeah, I want to hear more. This is so good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's come back from the break, and we'll talk with Sherry Magdaleno about karma.
This is the Broadcast Team Alpha Show, hosted by Nori Love and Augie Nost. The one show that takes your doubts of the unknown and spins them into reality. Share your thoughts by calling our hotline number at 702-425-9230. That's 702-425-9230. Call now. Worldwide callers use Skype name KCOR Radio. More cutting-edge conversation and exploration of the quantum universe after this.
Looking for intelligent talk? Then look no further. Expedition Truth. Expedition Truth. Hosted by Jack Ashcraft. Live on Thursdays, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Exclusively on the KCOR Digital Radio Network. From spirituality and prophecies to philosophy, politics and science, and so much more, Expedition Truth is setting new standards for what intelligent talk radio should be. Jack explores all of the hot topics, as well as interviews some of the most respected academics and authors in their respective fields today. Expedition Truth. Live on Thursdays, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Intelligent talk for the discerning mind, because the truth never fears questions.
Great.
It's great. I think it's great.
The all-new KCOR Digital Radio Network.
Great.
Make a note of it.
It's great.
If ever a breed was affectionate to a fault, it's the Golden Retriever. They're people dogs, pure and simple. And the Golden Retriever Rescue of Southern Nevada needs your help. If you would like to volunteer, foster, adopt, or donate, go to the Golden Retriever Rescue of Southern Nevada's website at grrsn.org. That's grrsn.org. Or call 598-GOLD. That's 598-GOLD.
How long does it take to get to the forest?
That's not far.
What are we gonna do? Hike?
Sure.
Are we there yet?
Yep. It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org, brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
Looking for a radio show like no other?
We need something brand new.
Then tune into the KCOR Digital Radio Network, Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and get ready for The Quantum Shift. A great shift of consciousness is sweeping across the Earth. Are you ready for the dimensional shift?
It is amazing, is it not?
The Quantum Shift. Quantum Shift. Quantum Shift. Hosted by Dr. Sam Muggsy and Kent Dunn. Be part of the fifth dimensional reality, where consciousness prevails and the universal law of one is the only true reality. The Quantum Shift. Quantum Shift. Quantum Shift. Live Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Exclusively on the KCOR Digital Radio Network.
Going live.
Come explore the quantum possibilities. This is Broadcast Team Alpha. Broadcast Team Alpha. To be on the show live, call 702-425-9230. That's 702-425-9230. Worldwide callers use Skype name KCOR Radio. Share your thoughts of the show on Twitter at KCOR Radio, #KCOR. Or join the cutting edge conversation live in our chat room at www.kcorradio.com. Now back to Broadcast Team Alpha with your free thinking hosts, Nori Love and Augie Nast.
We are back. Yay. I just want to give a big shout out to the chat room. The chat room is always so much fun. I mean, Z is there and super cute, and Summer and Shady D and Parked Cake and Naj and Madeline and Lisa and Karen and Joe and Iowa Kim, Iowa Girl, Echo, David Cook, Crowman, and the amazing Rich and Famous Tina Marie. Hello, everybody. So we're so grateful that you're here with us. And I just want to take a few moments to invite you to connect with us in other ways. Augie and I have the Mastermind Connection. It's on Patreon. That's where it's, and actually we have the mastermindconnection.org website that's in the process of coming up. And we have a mastermind. We have 2 sessions that happen on Sundays, and it's free to come and join the sessions. And what we do is bring together our thought energy for a specific intention. So during the 2:00 Eastern time one, it's whatever the intention the group comes up with during that day. And believe me, just like all you guys who are listening, the people who participate in this are just remarkable minds and remarkable energies. And we come up with an intention, and we do a guided imagery that's super relaxing, and we just really commune on the level of connecting in the quantum realm to create circumstances that would evoke changes. On the second one, it's a little bit more focused, and we actually commune with people on other dimensions. We have been reaching out specifically to the Pleiadians, but we are not limited to them. And we've been having some really interesting synchronicities, like several people who go through the meditation will receive images during the meditation, and then when we reveal them at the end, we find that there are synchronicities. So there's definitely something really interesting happening there. So we invite you to the Mastermind Connection, and if you'd like to connect with us also, we have like a year and a half, almost 2 years worth of really cool interviews that are out there on the Broadcast Team Alpha YouTube station. So that was really long-winded, and I just want to thank you for when you hit the donate button. That helps us to defray some of the costs of our show, and it's a warm fuzzy. It helps us know that you're liking what we're putting out there. So thanks for listening to this, guys. And I mean, we've got like a cliffhanger because we left with Sherry in the middle of this amazing relaying of this experience. Hi, Sherry. Welcome back.
Hello. Yes. So I was talking about my relationship with my mother, how it was kind of trying for a little child to feel rejected. I felt unloved. I was definitely treated different than my siblings. And like I said, when I was about 42, she freed me of the thought that she didn't actually love me. She was just so conflicted by me being very different and saying things that, of course, experiencing the world very different than all of them experienced.
Right.
But I had a very hard time sleeping. And so I used to sneak into her room in the middle of the night, and I would spoon with her, like press myself up against her back.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a very strong memory of knowing that she was lying there awake and feeling me, but not comforting me, not even acknowledging me. And it would feel, like only moments, but then she would say, okay, it's time for you to go back in your own bed. And I would feel so, wrought with rejection and hurt. And so I thought, if I could rewrite this, it's just between her and I, but it would change the whole energetics of how we relate with each other. Because here she was back in my space visiting me, and I'm 49, and I was still feeling the hurt of that, wanting to look for her love, even as this adult person, still feeling the little Sherry, can you just hug me? She's not affectionate with me at all. So I was thinking, if I rewrite this, what will it do? So I did that. I went in, jumped the timeline, which I could always do, but normally I would do it to experience something, but not to change it, because I really didn't know, what are the ramifications of this?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of chaos will I create or not create? And so I went into it. I said, this is just her and I. Let's do this experiment. And I crawled into bed with her, and I had her turn and hold me.
Wow.
And so instead of being rejected by her, she embraced me until I felt safe. And she actually let me explain what I was experiencing and let me tell her, this is what I felt, this is what I saw. And instead of her saying, what a great imagination, now go back to bed, she said, wow, well, I don't see that, but it's okay. And really embracing me in my experiences and giving me the permission to be me. And so when I came out of that, of course, I was crying and very emotional, because I felt I really felt the energetics that something did happen, something did occur. And so coming fresh out of that, I didn't experience any difference. But that evening, my mother said, "Aren't you going to teach meditation tonight?" And I said, "Yeah, actually I am." And she said, "Is it okay if I come?"
Wow.
And so I was completely floored. I said, "Well, sure." And so she came. And of course, I know I'm planting seeds, but this is a brand new experience for her, for someone who's never meditated.
Amazing.
I mean, this is a brand new world for somebody.
That's
and
amazing.
So she got to witness me in this environment that she had
Wow.
never seen me in.
What a healing. What a healing.
It truly was, because when I left medicine, she was the first person to say, "You need to rethink this. What are you thinking?"
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it was a complete harebrained idea for me to leave medicine.
Mm-hmm.
So for her to witness me in this new environment and say, wow, like she looks so confident and comfortable, and all of these people in this classroom are listening to her and completely riveted by the things she's saying. But when we got home, I just went about my business, washing dishes and things like this and clearing my kitchen. And she stood behind me. And so my hands were wet, but I just looked and I said, "Is there something that you need?" Mm-hmm. And she said, "I'm just waiting to give you a hug and say goodnight." Oh. Okay, so this never happens. And so, of course, phenomenal. I dried my hands, hurried up, and I hugged her. And she said, "I love you. Good night." And so my mother, I love her. I truly do. But she's the mother that says, "I love you" before she hangs up the phone, not really a whole lot to your face. And so to receive the gift of that, I knew, okay, this is unmistakably what I've done.
Absolutely.
And I have noticed that small change has been lasting. So that was last summer. It was last May that I had done that. So a whole year.
Amazing.
And so I've noticed that when we talk on the phone, it's very different. And she subscribed to Gaia.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
So, I mean, is it bad or is it good? What have I done?
So this is amazing. And Dr. Joe Dispenza has been doing his Go Love program. And a lot of that had to do with meditating for somebody else. Okay. So I'm going to cull it down to the most basic frequency. So to me, that was immersing yourself and sending love to another person who might not have been capable to do it for themselves at that moment, or somebody who's been having a hard time. And, I had a lot of questions about free will, regarding that. But nonetheless, I did come down to the bottom line that it's okay to send love to anybody. So my question is,
absolutely. I've gotten that message actually as downloads before. Yeah. Like, you never need permission for love.
To send love. So how do you think this compares to karma, if you will, right? Because a lot of the people, so in my class, we're in week 7 of the 12-week masterclass, and we did a meditation where we put specific people in our heart and just bathe them in love. And people have been having experiences out of the blue, air quotes, right, with these people that they put in their heart. And that happened to me. I put somebody in my heart that I hadn't talked to in 30 years. And literally he texted me the next morning after I did that exercise. So is this changing karma, or is this?
And by the way, that will happen if you try to cut cords with someone you have a karmic connection with as well. They will contact you. Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's so interesting.
So my question then becomes, what's the karma, the lesson or the energetic of it? Because I still have, thought memories of having that experience with my mother, but the pain of it no longer exists. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. But I learned the lesson of that, and I saw also the repeating pattern of what that caused. So really, maybe I was allowed to change that because I already received the lesson of it. Does that make sense?
Nice.
So
Absolutely.
maybe we are allowed to do anything beyond the point of already receiving. And so we planned that. We planned that we were going to do this because that completely empowered me, because I said, I'm going to do this and I'm not going to tell anyone I've done this, and I'm going to see what it does.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll let her do this. She'll be completely empowered by this. Let her do it.
So funny. So here's a question from Super Cute. Super Cute asks, can you use the Emerald tablets, Brotherhood of Light circles, to jump into the ethers?
I have not, but anything in the hands of a divinely gifted or driven person is just another tool.
Absolutely.
That's how I see that. So if you put that in the hands of someone who is not divinely guided or gifted, it then creates a completely different kind of current. And that's the realm of like magic, not being divinely magical, but magic. And that's a completely different energetic. That would be my only response to that. But if you are divinely guided, do it all. I mean, that's why it exists.
So how about your experience with your mom, where the pain of that situation became neutralized? That sounds a little bit like different dynamic, but similar to like zero pointing.
Right. Well, the practice of Ho'oponopono, right? Erasing something all the way back to zero, to the point before it existed. And if something shows up in your reality, it's because it exists in you. So even if you meet a murderer, in some part, some imprint of your soul, there is that murderer that exists. And so you have to excavate that and clear it.
Shadows.
Exactly. And that's why I say nothing is good or bad. We just have to integrate it and accept. So acceptance is huge. I mean, but that's one of the biggest ingredients of love, right? Is acceptance.
Oh.
What was that?
That was Pixie squeaking. What happened? Aww.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't know if someone was ecstatic. Yes, love.
Preach, sister. Maybe that's what it was.
Yes, she was with me.
She was with you. That's so cute.
You were mentioning the Emerald tablets, or actually Super Cute did, and it is just another tool. But some of these tools, they would work even both for the good or the not so good in the physical, if it is used in two different ways, wouldn't it?
Right. So it's all about intent. How do we want to propel our energy? Yes. And so I think whenever you're trying to guide someone else's experience, that's when you're delving into that where you should not be propelling energy. Like, I want this person to fall in love with me kind of thing, where they think, well, it's love. No. Don't get it twisted. You're changing someone else's experience.
Yeah, that's twisting it.
Yes. Thank you, Augie. That was a good point.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that propels the karmic ramifications in a different way. Totally.
Yeah, so there's if we propel the karmic experience like that, it is more work for us later on to clear it. Either by doing like Hugh Len did, by filling the negative thoughts with love so it guts out the negative vibration, or after you drop the body, you may have to decide to, gosh, did I screw that one up so bad? I probably should go back and see if I could maybe do it better. Do you think that could happen?
I don't think that once we're in spirit, we think anything is screwed up, that we're like, can you imagine that I did that?
Yeah.
Isn't this hilarious? Because really, like, the human experience is like sitting a hand out of poker. I mean, that's how fast it is to the spirit realm. We're just like, you know what? Deal me out. I'm going to go be human for a minute. And then we come back, we're like, man, that was something.
Yeah, lifetimes are very quick.
I really got to feel all the feels. Like that was kind of dark sometimes and like sublime. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, because they are very quick. We don't spend much time here at all. It's just more or less done in a moment when we can play out all the scenarios that we have planned for our life, and then we come back and then we review it.
Right.
And the Christians are right. There is a doomsday. There is a judge, but we are the judge.
Right.
If we judge at all, we just evaluate. Actually, a better word.
Mm-hmm. Right. And that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And then we run up our tab. Okay, well, this is what happened. You stayed in really good exchange, Sherry. So you didn't rack up a whole big tab. High five.
Yeah.
You know? Or, wow, check this out. You were pretty selfish right here. Like you really let yourself do some things that affected this many people. And so, yeah, you're gonna have to like have the exchange for that in the next one. All right, I get it.
Yeah. Oh, before we get out of our reach here, what about, you said walking somebody home? Maybe there were souls that hasn't found a home, or somebody was totally confused and not quite passed yet. You were mentioning that you could guide them to the light. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Right. So the earthbound energies, ghosts, they're more dense and they're stuck here. And so if you think about the energetic of that, if someone dies in a traumatic way or they take an exit point that they weren't ready for, they can get stuck here. And they won't go and sit at that poker table and say, check this out, this is what I did. They kind of resist that and they won't go back. And so they get stuck here and then they become confused. And so usually by the time I meet those energies, they're in full on panic because they know that I can sense them, feel them, hear them. And so then they're like, help me. And so I do cross them over and help usher them back where they need to be, back to source. And then they can sit around that and delve out whatever experiences they had or did not complete or completed or whatever. But I know that in those moments, especially when I have to walk them right up to the light, that I feel this immediate wash over me that I know that I experience as karmic burning for myself. And so that's my reward for that communing and for helping them, that I get to experience that. But like I had said before, I don't do that for that reward. I do it because that's really dense energy and it doesn't belong here because it's affecting all the people that are having human experiences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you are interacting with those disembodied souls, do you do that in the form of pure consciousness or in the astral vehicle, or how do you go about?
Yeah, I do that in pure consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So I still my human,
yeah,
and it's all telepathic and energetic, and I connect with them. But there are some that are more resistant. The most resistant, I think I shared on the last show, was a teenage boy who had died of cancer and his mother had become an alcoholic. And so he was really not wanting to leave this realm. But of course he had no access to her as an earthbound energy. And it was really making both of them distraught. I mean, her losing her child and him not wanting to leave her because she was spiraling. But I actually had him in my home for 2 weeks before he finally crossed over. It took a lot because even showing him the light, what I had to do is pull other souls that he was familiar with to greet him and then soften him to go. And also explain to him, which was, of course, teenagers, that's like, teenager in spirit or earthbound is the same as a teenager in the human body. This is them coming into their independence, like F you, lady, right? Like, I'm not going anywhere. I don't know where you're sending me. So they're like in a panic. And so it took a little bit of finagling, but it was a good 2 weeks. But I didn't leave him in the environment that he was in. I took him home with me.
It's beautiful, Sherry. What a gift you are.
Oh, thank you. Very generous of you. But that I know created that. So it was beautiful because then he can come back, of course. But he also has access to his mother in that higher vibration, but earthbound he doesn't.
Yeah.
And that's what they don't understand. They stay because they think that.
Yeah, the bottom of the astral world is not necessarily a nice place. It's a lot of stuff going on there.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have 3 minutes until we close. Sherry, how can people reach you with your divine wisdom?
Well, I am on Facebook as Sherry Magdaleno. I'm on Instagram as divinityin.me. And that's also my website address. So divinityin.altogether.me is my website.
Perfect.
So they can contact me like that. They can email me, message me.
Beautiful.
And Sherry, if you could talk to the whole world right now and the world were listening, what would you tell them?
Get out of your heads and in your hearts. Truly, I always believed love to be the true alchemy. You can change anything through love.
Actually, there's something to that, even scientifically, because there is a center in the heart that is considered to be a brain-like center that is hardwired to the pituitary. And yes, get in the heart because that's where love lives. Yeah. Wow. I'm high after this show. It felt so good. Oh, that felt good.
You could talk for days on this.
Yeah.
Really good subject.
Because there's so many tributaries off of it. Truly.
Yeah, it is. And I guess we are now about 30 seconds away from the end of the show. So thank you very much, Sherry, for being with us.
Sherry.
Oh, I'm honored to be invited. Thank you. Truly blessed. Thank you.
Yeah. And until next week, we will be back. And until then, be good to each other.
You've been listening to Broadcast Team Alpha.
Broadcast Team Alpha.
Hosted by Nori Love and Augie Nost. Every Tuesday night at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on the KCOR Digital Radio Network. The balance of power is shifting to a new paradigm. Will you be ready? For more information on Broadcast Team Alpha, as well as the hosts, Nori Love and Augie Nost, please visit their website at broadcastteamalpha.com. Until next week, remember to keep those minds open while always exploring the endless quantum possibilities.
Broadcast Team Alpha. Over and out.
This is KCOR Las Vegas, home of the Digital Radio Network, broadcasting from a shack just south of Area 51.
Wait, that doesn't exist.
This is the KCOR Digital Radio Network. Now for the news.